Did you notice Luca whining yesterday, Bobby?
I mean, I noticed Luca whining every game. And it is like, I think when I came in here, it's what you guys were talking about this morning when I walked in, is he'll stop and he'll start complaining. And it reminds me so much. I think it was a playoff game. Do y'all remember when Chuck Knobloch screwed up, like missed something, and then he stopped to like do this and didn't even chase the ball in a playoff series?
Yep.
And somebody like picked up an extra base or two because he literally stopped to argue about it. That happens way too much where Luka does stop down to complain. He's turning, and it's like, they're in transition, bro. Like, get back.
Yeah.
And so I love Luka. I'm not going to be the one to like nitpick Luka, but like, that's a problem. That's an issue, and it's continued to be an issue. But I put more of what's gone on recently on Jason Kidd than I do Luka.
How so?
For him to talk about the whole angle of, what was his exact quote? I'm not the savior, I'm not playing, I'm watching just like you guys. No, you're not watching just like me. You're setting the rotation. You're the one keeping Josh Green on the bench. You're the one keeping Christian Wood on the bench. You can't compare where we're at all. I mean, if you're literally just that hands off.
Nonchalant like attitude with that, like, hey, don't look at me. And it's like, what? Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer, a lot of people respect his basketball opinion. He basically said no team has ever won the NBA championship with no defense, no depth, and no head coach. And I was like, whoa, bad defense, bad depth, and a bad head coach. And I tweeted him back. I said, did you think he was a bad head coach last year? Like this complete turnaround and flip-flopping on Kidd. I'm trying to figure out where we should fall.
I mean, look, was he a good head coach last year, or did Jalen Brunson get him out of the first round? Like, which one was it? Maybe he was. I thought he did a nice job defensively with, this team's defense.
Yeah,
was really, really good and very, very locked down in certain spots.
They are 6th in the West. Like
they're what, like 3 games out of 12th too.
Well, yeah, everybody is.
Yeah, it's a jumbled mess. Do we look at this differently if Phoenix didn't have one of the worst game 7s in sports history? Do we look at Jason Kidd a little bit differently?
No.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think last year he did a good coaching job last year. This team was floundering, like it was not looking good in December. They turned it around, and then they had the Porzingis trade, and things started to look really good. And he coached them really well defensively. And you remember we were all praising him for the way he pushed Luka's buttons about defense in the playoffs, and that played really well. And we all were like, man, look at what he's done here. He's completely turned the corner. And I did feel that way. My issue right now is, I mean, as you guys have talked about already today, and as we've talked about a lot over the last several weeks, just the inability in late game situations to draw anything out. Coming out of a timeout, it's bad with Jason Kidd.
This is the worst. This is the worst out of a timeout I've ever seen this organization be, like in 25 years. I can't imagine there's been a worse one. This is awful.
Which Carlisle, on the polar opposite of that, was one of the best in the NBA drawing something up coming out of a timeout. So it's just such a giant fall by comparison. But the other issue here is this. I don't know any other way to say it other than just this attitude. Like the attitude that he has
from Jason?
Yeah, with any sort of criticism. He gets all worked up about it.
Does he get worked up? Let me hear him. What's Jason Kidd sound like worked up?
I'm not the savior here. I'm not playing. I'm watching just like you guys.
Yeah, that's him worked up.
As a team, we got to mature. We got to grow up.
Yeah, but the thing with him is it's all outward. It's always, pointing outwardly at everybody. And I think my issue with him right now is it feels like a lot of this year has sounded like or has felt like some of the stories we heard out of Brooklyn and Milwaukee that got him in trouble. Obviously, it's not like writing a book worthy and
we haven't heard abuse.
No, but we've seen games being played with Christian Wood. Clearly.
Yes.
And then we see him being very, likes to play the mind games a little bit, clearly yesterday with guys like Luca and stuff like that. So he does play it a little bit. I don't think it's to the level that it got in places like Milwaukee, but it's just, I think you're starting to see some of the cracks and, okay, this is what Brooklyn and Milwaukee saw.
Who do you think's got a higher approval rating around here between Jason Kidd and Mike McCarthy?
Ooh.
McCarthy.
Man. You think so?
Yeah.
I think it's McCarthy as well. Who do you trust more at the end of a game, Roberto?
They're the same guy. I mean, I guess maybe slightly McCarthy. This past year wasn't terrible.
Isn't that a tough question?
It's not easy. I mean, look, I trust the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy in the end of a game more right now.
Look, I'm not going to fight you on anything.
You trust a Zeke snap more, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's where we're at. We trust Zeke snapping the ball and throwing it to Kevontae Turpin for the first time in 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be fair. That was also a dead play walking.
I know that's what I'm just saying. But like for all the comedy surrounding that, or even just the let's call a draw play with 14 seconds left, like you think it's college football and the ball will stop while they move the chains. Even with all of that, I still would probably trust McCarthy more to execute at the end, because this is way too routinely this year that stuff has gone sideways with Kidd coming out of a timeout or when he's been asked to draw something up.
Denver's first in the West. They're up 5.5 games over the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies beat down Denver over the weekend. Sacramento is the 3. They're 7 games back. The Kings are 3 games up on the Phoenix Suns. The Suns lost to the Bucks yesterday before the Mavs game. 14 straight wins for the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't even have Giannis. So the Suns without KD are the 4. The Clippers are the 5. They're a half game up on the Mavericks. All right? Mavericks are the 6. Golden State is all of a sudden the 7. We're a half game up on the Warriors. We're a half game behind the Clippers. The Jazz are the 8. The T-Wolves are the 9. I think I saw A-Rod sit next to Barry Bonds yesterday. Get the memes rolling there. The Pelicans are the 10. The Blazers are the 11 after Dame dropped 71. And the Lakers are the 12.